What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another one. It's set up to be a pretty busy month. In fact, really a pretty busy week. There's a lot of earnings calls from banks that are coming up, and I want you guys to pay attention because generally speaking, companies make big changes usually right before, during, or right after these earnings calls. And there's a lot of big companies that are going to be releasing these earnings reports. This could ultimately result in layoffs, major directional changes in terms of banking. Some of the companies coming up are Intuit, Palo Alto Networks, NVIDIA Corporation. You've got Analog Devices. Now, these are all May 23rd, May 24th, and May 25th, all right? You got Analog Devices, Bank of Montreal, Bank of Nova Scotia, Costco Wholesale, Bank of Canada. You got Toronto Dominion and Medtronic. Now, all of these stocks are trading right now in the green today. Yeah, but every one of these stocks is also going to be reporting their earnings. So it's going to be really interesting to see how do these stocks trade going forward. We already know companies like Walmart and Target, they're shutting down stores over theft, right? They're going to do whatever they need to do to get these earnings report numbers up, to get their profitability back. But this means that we need to be preparing for what's coming down the pipeline. Whenever these banks report earnings, you have to prepare for what's going to come afterward. You know, whether you're a stockholder, whether you're an employee of these companies, pay attention to what these businesses are doing, because every one of these businesses is going to affect your income. So you have to prepare, you have to prep, and make sure that you and your family are ready for what's coming down the pipeline. Now, one of the things that you should be doing, well, I'm not going to tell you what you should be doing, you know what you should be doing, is making sure that your income is as high as it can be, and make sure your income's always growing. Fed Chair Jerome Powell will continue to raise interest rates. Until I see him start cutting interest rates, I will expect that the Fed will continue to raise interest rates. I'm not trying to predict a better scenario until I actually see evidence of that. Inflation is coming down, but prices are still high. CPI is still high. So let's not pretend like it's not. But, you know, what we have to understand is you don't need millions of dollars to start investing to, you know, for a return. And as we covered in a previous video, I was explaining how Warren Buffett pays way less taxes than his secretary, which is wild when you think about it. But if you understand the rules, then you can understand how the wealthy keep getting wealthier or the rich keep getting richer. And, you know, but when you understand that you don't have to allow that cycle to continue, you can shift. You can leverage those rules so that you benefit from them too. All right. So, you know, anyway, so, and you could start with as little as $100. So whether you have, you know, whether you only have $100 to invest or you only have $1,000 to invest, you have the power to start, right? Now, here's one thing that I want to share with you guys. The riskier the investment, the higher the potential return. Let me repeat that. The riskier the investment, the higher the potential return. But also the flip side goes the same way. The inverse way, actually. The safer the investment, the lower the return. So, meaning, if you're, you know, willing to invest in a business, a brand new startup business with no history, that's going to be more risky than investing in a company like Walmart or Target or Costco, where these companies have very long track records of profitability, paying dividends on a regular basis. Companies like Home Depot, although their sales are lacking, they've been around for a long time and they've been paying dividends for a long time as well. So, you know, investing in a brand new business with no history, no no long-term track record is more risky, but the gains, the potential profitability of, you know, think about how many businesses like Google, for example, were startup companies. Amazon was a startup company, right? And all of these companies turned into billion-dollar corporations. Well, what do you think happened to the founders, the initial investors, that initial seed money? Like, they were considered high risk at one point. But every one of those initial, some people didn't even get paychecks. They didn't get a paycheck working there. They received stocks, and these stocks were essentially worthless when they first started working there because the company didn't make any money. What they had hoped, and they believed in these future companies, and now pretty much, I would guarantee the first at least the first 1,000 employees who work there, they're all millionaires. Probably way more than that, But I'm just saying they got in on the ground floor. The risk was the highest, and this is what I mean when I say that the riskier the investment, the higher the potential return. What if Amazon never turned into being anything, right? If Amazon never became anything, then they wasted their time, and time is money. Time is money. Never let anyone convince you that that's not true. The other thing is the safer the investment, the lower the return. Great example. If you put your money into an FDIC insured savings bank account, Chase Bank, Bank of America, Wells Fargo, Citibank, a credit union, whatever the case is, if you put your money in one of those banks or a credit union, you are going to earn a very minimal return. Why? Because it's one of the safer investments, and so it has a very low return. Your return is generally in relationship to your invested capital and the amount of risk that you're willing to take on, right? But keep in mind, you could start small, and fractional shares of growth stocks are one of the best ways to invest $100, or even if you only have $1,000 to invest, right? And the best long-term investment that you can make is in yourself. And I will always be a huge proponent of this, right? So, I just want to give you guys a little bit of food for thought. If you got $100 or you got $1,000, where could I invest that? Where should I invest that, right? Well, it really depends on where you're starting in life. How much skills do you have right now? Do you already have a fairly high income? Can you increase your income by acquiring new skills? Well, here's one. Did you know you could start a blog with $100? Like, literally, you could start a blog, and starting a blog could be one of the best ways to invest $100. $100 could get you a blog up and off the ground. Like, if you're looking to start your own business, and let's say you work in a 9-to-5 right now, you're living paycheck to paycheck, working a 9-to-5, and you're saying to yourself, you know what, I don't have a whole lot of money to invest. I know that if I invest $100 into the stock market, even if I pick the best ETF, the best index fund, the best mutual fund in 2023, by the end of the year, I'm probably not going to have more than $110 based on a 10% rate of return on average from the S&P 500. So what could I do to increase the chances that I make more of a significant return on my investment in 2023? Now, of course, this is not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. Oh, by the way, and of course, it's not tax advice. I'm not a tax advisor. If you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing to the channel and also smash the like button. I totally appreciate that. So you got $100 and you're saying to yourself, how do I make some money off this, right? Well, number one, if you're already working a 9-to-5, good for you. Make sure your bill's getting paid in the interim while you're trying to get your side hustle or your small business off the ground. But yeah, taking a blog or starting a blog takes less than $100 to start, right? Basically, the bulk of the work will be you consistently writing blog posts. And you might be thinking to yourself, well, what would it take to get started creating a blog? Or more importantly, how much money can I make starting a blog? And what is a blog? Well, a blog is just a website. And with a blog, you can make like thousands of dollars per day. Very, very honestly, you can make thousands of dollars per day off of a $100 investment. And it almost boggles the mind why more people aren't doing this, right? So you can set up hosting, like website hosting through Bluehost. It's like $47 for the first year. And you don't have to use Bluehost. You could use like GoDaddy or HostGator or there's so many other ones, but that's just one. And then you get a domain name, Usually it's free, might be up to $12. But you know, a domain name, let's just say you're into cooking, and you can just be like, all right, my name is Ron, so Ron's Cooking, you know, or Ron's Dishes, or Ron's Grilling, right? Like, I would leverage my passion. Whatever you're passionate about, turn your passion into profits, right? And then you get like a WordPress installation. You can set that up. That makes it just way easier to build out the website, and basically set a blog theme. So, and by the way, you know, if you use Bluehost, they got one-click installation, right? And it'll help you to set up your WordPress functionality, even if you're a beginner, right? And then you just pick your blog theme, and I would just pick, like, you know, there's like thousands of themes. I would just type whatever niche I'm in, and then pick whichever one looked the nicest, and, you know, click go. So anyway, you can literally see from what we covered, you can get started with a blog with less than $100, right? And you can make money on your blog by selling ad space to companies that want to talk to your audience. They want to get in front of your audience. You can do affiliate marketing on there. Like, if you're in a given niche, there's always companies that are trying to sell their products and services. So you can earn commissions off your WordPress website, off your blog, you know, with relevant products and services that your audience would be interested in, right? And this is happening all day long, 24/7. So you're making passive income while you're sleeping. And this is a key to getting out of the rat race, and, you know, getting out of living paycheck to paycheck. Now, of course, you know, if you're making thousands of dollars per day, or thousands of dollars per week, or thousands of dollars per month, you want to make sure that you don't just blow your money and waste it, right? Because remember, even if you make $100,000 a month, think about that, right? You make $100,000 a month, but you're spending $100,000 a month, you're not getting ahead. And the moment your income stops, then you're screwed again. And so that's literally how, you know, many people who, and I shared this in a previous video, making $100 grand a year, still living paycheck to paycheck. It's wild. But the thing is if you allow lifestyle creep to creep up, then you remain a slave to your debt. You remain a slave to your bills. So, you know, for me, I'm not about that. So anyway, yeah, and another way you can monetize your blog is you can set up Google AdSense, right? So you can set up Google AdSense, and literally, even if no one buys anything from your website, if they click the ads, then you're earning revenue from the ad, the clicks that went to the ads. So that's another way you can make money, and people are making millions of dollars doing this, right? Met a guy who started a blog like 7 years ago. He didn't know what he was doing. His goal wasn't really to make money, but eventually, you know, he was just blogging about his hobbies. He was into like biking, and, you know, riding bikes, tuning them, making them lighter, faster, and long and short of it, so he had a blog, and he was just sharing his own experiences. Whenever he would take pictures, normally he would post them on Instagram and Facebook, but he ended up posting these pictures on his blog, and before he knew it, he had a following, and he was getting, like, you know, a few thousand views a month. Nothing crazy, but he then realized that, hey, I can make some money on this. So he ended up setting up his Google AdSense. That gave him basically revenue fairly quickly, because people were already hitting the website like a few thousand per month, and then out of the few thousand, hundreds were clicking at least. And then he said, hey, let me look into affiliate marketing. So he looked into affiliate marketing. He found many different related companies that would be relevant to his audience: bike repair companies, bike sales, bike rentals, biking gear, like biking apparel. It was wild how many different things that are related. Before he knew it, he, you know, put links on his website to these different things, and he has not made any updates on this website in the last 5 years. He hasn't touched the website in the last 5 years. He told me he makes like $2,000-$3,000 every single year off this website, and he hasn't even done anything with it. He hasn't even touched it in 5 years. So you want to talk about passive income doing nothing, and it didn't cost him but $100 to set up this website, and I think he spends like $50 a year to keep it up and running. I don't even think it's $50. It's probably less than $50 a year to keep it up and running, and he's making thousands of dollars a year doing nothing. Now just imagine if he said, "Hey, let me update this website. Let me drop some new information on here. Let me make some new blog posts." Can you imagine how much money he'd be making? It would be a little bit less passive, but again, he could just make a post once a month, a couple times a month maybe. Heck, he could even hire his kids to make the posts for him. You know, the blog is already paying for itself. If he posted more, he'd make more money. He could easily pay his kids. And this is what I'm talking about when I talk about home-based business ideas. Like this is like stuff that anybody can do. If you're watching me right now, you have the capability to do what I'm talking about. So yeah, drop me some comments down below. Hope you guys got some value out of this video. Remember, financial preparedness, prepping, we know what's coming down the pipeline. Increase your income, passive income, residual streams of income. By the way, you should see a video here and a video here. Make sure to click those videos and check out those videos. Lots of good information in there. Again, if you guys are new to the channel, please consider subscribing, drop a like for the video, and share this video with a friend. I'll see you guys on the next one. Y'all be safe.